In delay there lies no plenty. So don't delay what you need to complete, because without plenty, you can't improve. Yes, this video is about the importance of finishing stuff, whether it's a song, an album, a poem, a painting, a video, or even a short story for that matter. Don't fall into the trap of just starting new things. Finish what you're working on. But a more important question to ask first is perhaps why it's so important to finish stuff. Well, the short answer to that is that there are skills involved in finishing things that you don't develop unless you actually finish stuff. And these skills are important when it comes to getting you to where you want to be creatively. Or to put things plainly, you don't get there without them because they come from a completely different toolbox than the one we use to come up with our creative ideas. Being a successful artist, as in an artist with an actual body of work, you need both sets of skills. But the thought of turning a demo into a properly recorded release gives me nightmares. That's why I only have 2 finished songs on Spotify. Now, why is that? Well, I talk about this a lot, but there's a big difference between the potentiality of a creative endeavor and the finished result. For me, some of the ideas that excite me the most are often the hardest to complete, because the risk of disappointing myself is just too great. The gap between the potential of the thing, how exciting the idea is, and how much of that potential I'm actually able to deliver on is sometimes too wide. I can even get resentful of my favorite ideas because I feel like I can't bridge the gap between exciting potential and finished song. And then I bum myself out and it turns into a whole negative spiral where I feel worthless and that I'm wasting my time with music. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I don't think I'm the only person in the world paralyzed by my own fear of not being good enough. But how do we cure it? How do we fix this problem? Well, I think the first step is acknowledging that this is all part of the package. Navigating the emotional aspects of all of this is something to be aware of and practice, like you would your instrument or something like your mixing skills. Being good at music and having a lot of cool ideas for parts, riffs and licks, for example, isn't going to give you the discipline to sit down, arrange, rearrange and then record everything you've come up with in a way that works for a song. And also make sure all parts are recorded properly and keep track of all your settings, volumes, knobs, plugins in a way that will give you a consistent mix later on. Because once again, these are different skills. And for me personally, I love the writing process, but I hate recording and engineering things. So while I love writing demos of songs, I have to really force myself to track all the parts properly. I don't enjoy it, I'm not very good at it, and that's what typically keeps me from completing and releasing more songs. I constantly neglect gain staging, recording with the right pickups between takes, playing tight enough, tuning and retuning, changing strings and batteries, mic placement, not being too close or being too far away, just being consistent. I get worked up just thinking about it and things never sound as good as I want them to. So for me, recording is a struggle. For you, there might be something else, but we all have that something else that at some point makes us want to pause what we're doing and just do something else, start something new before we actually get to a completed version of what we were working on. Everyone else is better than me, records better than me, plays better than me, is more in tune than I am, plays tighter, all that stuff. But I'm aware of this. And if I just gave up every time I got to this point and just started another idea instead of tracking a final version of the song I'm working on, I would never have any finished songs. What I would have is endless folders of ideas sitting on my computer and nothing to show for it. Think of finishing projects as something you would practice on your instrument. You'll only develop that mental muscle by working it. And by working it, you'll also get an understanding for where you struggle and where you tend to want to give up and start something else and just push through that. Like you did when you could hardly use that pinky in your solos. You get my point. Frame it as practice and apply yourself. I even believe in writing and completing bad songs, especially in the beginning of your songwriting pursuits, and certainly if you never finished more songs than you can count on your hands. Because otherwise it's so easy to get stuck in that pattern of giving up on the song before you finish it, because it's not living up to its potential. But you won't be able to make songs that do until you have enough bad ones under your belt. So complete them and move forward. You have to write enough bad songs to learn what makes them bad and see that process through, because seeing it through is how you learn, not by giving up and starting over every time you lose that initial excitement. What do you learn from doing what you already know? The task at this stage is to be there and do the job, even when you don't want to, even when it's no longer fun, new and exciting. Because once a song is written, it's done. It is no longer unfinished potential. No, now it's just work. Important work. And most of this is mental work. It means showing up even when you don't want to, when you'd rather be somewhere else, doing something else. For example, I have written and completed, which means mixed and mastered to the best of my ability, at least 3 albums worth of songs since I started making music entirely on my own, and before that I wrote probably well over 50 songs of varying complexity, but I'm proud of that. I needed that to get to where I am now. Completing all that music and starting my channel has taken me to a point where I finally feel ready to release my first real album. I'm not afraid of setbacks or of feeling stuck or of ideas not working out like I hoped or of taking a few steps back in order to move forward. No, not at all. I'm not even afraid of feeling like I suck and that everything I do is terrible, because I also know that those feelings don't last. They come and they go. All my silly little songs that I took so seriously at the time have all given me the experience to deal with whatever comes up. So I say this to you as a friend. If your favorite part is starting new songs or new ideas, and it's become a little bit of a safe place for you to just do that over and over, you won't finish many songs. Sorry to say it. Sorry if it sounds harsh, but it's true. The moment you recognize that finishing something is a skill you need to practice, it's the moment you can really start to change things. And like I said, whether that's completing the writing of a song or recording proper takes for an already completed demo, as in my case, doesn't really matter. Whatever it is that you feel is holding you back from turning your songs into something you would call complete is the area you need to conceptualize as a vital practice session. Because it is vital. It's standing between you and you producing a body of work. So don't put it off. Remember, in delay there lies no plenty. That's all for today. Now I want to hear from you. Where do you struggle with all of this? How do you handle that part of yourself that just want to jump ship and start something new instead of finishing the old projects? And as always, thank you so much for watching and have a lovely day wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye.
Everything you've chosen is all that I could never be. All that you rejected is in me, is in me, is in me.